Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news, a major escalation between the U.S. and Cuba after the U.S. took action in Venezuela, then Iran. Tonight, President Trump now saying, quote, "We have Cuba on our mind." Tonight, the Justice Department unsealing an indictment against former Cuban President Raul Castro, the brother of the late longtime President Fidel Castro, the two brothers ruling Cuba for decades. Raul Castro, now 94, tonight charged with murder after the shoot-down of two civilian planes out of Florida in 1996. 4 people were killed, including 3 Americans, on a humanitarian mission. Tonight, Pierre Thomas right here asking Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, how will you get the 94-year-old Raul Castro to the U.S.? What does this look like? And of course, what comes next for Cuba? Pierre traveling with the Acting Attorney General to South Florida, where the indictment was announced this afternoon. So Pierre Thomas leads us off tonight from Miami.
Tonight, a motorcade winding through the streets of Miami. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche on his way to make a major announcement about Cuba. USA! Then, before a cheering crowd of hundreds, Blanche unveiling murder and conspiracy charges against former Cuban President Raul Castro, brother of the late revolutionary dictator Fidel Castro.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
Cuban MiGs shoot down.
Raul Castro is accused of orchestrating the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian planes from the humanitarian organization Brothers to the Rescue, a group that searched international waters looking for Cuban refugees trying to flee their homeland. 4 people, including 3 Americans, were on board those planes when Cuba shot them down. At the time, Raul Castro was Cuba's Minister of Defense.
I want to say that we also do not forget the families, the loved ones, and the friends who have carried grief and heartache for 30 years.
Raul Castro took the reins of the Cuban government after the death of his brother Fidel. Now 94 years old, he's been out of office for years, but remains a powerful figure.
What are the prospects that you could get Raul Castro to the United States to face justice? And what steps are the U.S. willing to take to get him back here?
Well, we indict men outside of this country all the time. The reason why we indict somebody is because we want them here to face justice in front of a jury of their peers. So we expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way.
That raises questions about whether U.S. troops will travel to Cuba and try to take Castro by force, the same way American forces seized former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro back in January, dragging him from his bedroom and flying him to New York, where he is in jail facing trial. Tonight, rejoicing in Miami's Cuban community, Little Havana. ABC's Matt Rivers speaking to Lourdes Zayas-Bazan, who hasn't been back to Cuba since she fled some 67 years ago.
What does this indictment symbolize to you?
It's finally a big step for freedom in Cuba.
And do you think that you will see government change in Cuba in the near term?
Well, hopefully, yes.
Tonight, President Trump signaling change is at hand.
I think this is a very big day, very important day.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Spanish with this message to the Cuban people, saying their government is the cause of their economic hardship. The real reason you don't have electricity, fuel, or food, he says, is because those who control your country have plundered billions of dollars, but nothing has been used to help the people.
Pierre Thomas, who was on the air with me this afternoon as this was all unfolding, with us live tonight in Miami. Pierre, tonight the Cuban government now responding to this indictment.
David, tonight Cuba's government calling the indictment a farce based on lies to justify military aggression. Earlier this month in Havana, Cuba's foreign minister telling our Whit Johnson that if the U.S. attacks Cuba, it could lead to a bloodbath. David?
Pierre Thomas leading us off tonight. Pierre, thanks so much.